Angry guy here. And a father warned daughter's boyfriend not to trust his daughter. Guys, to request a topic for a video, see the description below. And now let's begin. So, this is a comment that I received recently from every damn chat section. He left a comment on one of my videos where I was discussing why you have to be very careful with the young ladies today. Yet you basically just assume that everything they're saying is now a lie. This is the comment that he left. He said, I used to mess with dancers. Can't lie, I'd get money from them and take them to different clubs. But every now and then, I'd get to close. This one came to my town and acted like she was basically running from everyone. Come to find out, she had rich parents. This girl had charges and was wild. She literally got an ex deleted by her new man when she tried to set the other one up. I found this all out when I took her to her parents one day. Her pops pulled me aside and begged me to watch out for her and put a handful of cash in my palm on the low. It was $800. They would call me and say I'm the best dude she been with, lol. It ain't end well. She was too wild and I gave her an ultimatum that she couldn't do. Got rid of her and all horribleness broke loose. She tried to do everything you could think of to get back at me for not messing with her anymore. This is an incredible comment, guys, that you guys need to absolutely learn from. I warn you guys that, she was never yours. It was just your turn. And you have to be very, very careful because in every girl, there exist the streets. In many of the videos that I show you on here, you have girls who talk about their childhood. Some of them have hard childhoods, but a lot of them will tell you that their childhood was good. Some of them will say it was cute. It was cute. Basically, they grew up in a great family. One girl that's on the streets literally said that, her parents weren't rich, but they did, they worked hard. Before she was 16, she had a car. Her parents put all of her siblings, her and all of her siblings through college, covered the college expenses, and she is still on the streets. When I say that, within every little girl, there is the streets. And by the time they get to a certain age, if you don't condition them a certain way, they will go to the streets. Many of y'all are saying that it's wrong for me to say that, but you can watch the videos I put out. Girl after woman after woman after woman says that even when they're doing well, like they have a place to live, it's like the streets were calling out to them, and they had to go to the streets. I put out a new video recently where this woman literally says that she is homeless by choice. She has a place to go, but she is on the streets by choice because she feels more comfortable on the streets. It's like a certain kind of freedom, right? This is while she was wearing a bracelet because she had been taken into custody, and she was now wearing a tracking bracelet for what she claims was, petty theft. But I don't believe that. You don't get a bracelet just for a tracking bracelet just for petty theft. Nah, bro, you have a history. You have a history. All right, it's not a mystery. You have a history. That's why I say, when you meet a woman, I don't care if she's a doctor, a lawyer, or a new generation hobo. You need to assume that everything that she tells you is a lie. Don't assume it's the truth. Assume every word that's coming out of her mouth is a lie, and then try to find the things from within that lie that may be true. Because if you assume that that most of the things that she's saying are true, or that she's telling the truth, and then you try to look for the lies in the truth, then it's going to be much more difficult to pick them out. And that's when you're going to be at more of a disadvantage. On the other hand, if you approach everything as a lie, and then you try to find the truth in the lies, I mean, if you get something wrong and it turns out it was the truth, but you thought it was a lie, it's like, oh well, nothing lost, right? But on the other hand, if you thought that it was the truth, right, that she was telling the truth all the time while looking for lies, and it turns out that it was a lie, Well, now you know that could screw you up big time. So you have to always assume that everything she's saying is a lie, and then you work within the parameters of that. That's how you succeed. That's how you actually deal with them. When it comes to relationships, men are not going to be, you know, going anywhere close to women anymore. You know, women are now saying that men should never approach them in public, never approach a woman who is a stranger, don't speak to women who are strangers, like do not approach them, do not speak to them. It's very interesting. All right? And then the crazy thing is that, guys, this is going to, you know, how do I put this? Trends become normalities and normalities become traditions, right? So right now it's a trend that's now becoming a normality for men not to speak. It was a trend and now it's becoming a normality where men do not speak to women in public anymore. That even in the past it was pretty rare for a guy to just walk up to a woman and start talking to her. Even back in the 90s, most men didn't do it. Okay. The only reason why women now claim that, oh, you know, I'm tired of these guys speaking to me in public is because of social media. And they're getting so much attention from social media that their brains are confusing attention that they get from social media being equal to the same attention they would get from a guy that actually sees them in person. And then dating apps are also making them feel like they can get any guy they want at any given moment. And that just exasperates the condition, but their options are gradually declining, especially as they're getting older, and they don't realize it as men are walking away from Western society and relationships in Western society. And the eventual state that we're going to experience is that right now it's becoming a normality for men to no longer avoid, for men to no longer speak to women that they don't know, to no longer approach women. I mean, I mean, even in the clubs and the drinking places, you know, places that guys go to get a drink traditionally, you know what I'm talking about. Men are no longer going there, and women are like, "Where are all the guys? They're at home, hanging out, playing video games, relaxing, sleeping." And avoiding any issues because they don't want that. As I said, and there are guys who are like, hey, you're giving up the secret. What dudes are now beginning to do is they're beginning to fly out of the country. If they want to go on a date, they're just flying down. They're flying out of the country. They're flying down to the Caribbean. All right. They're flying to, like a lot of dudes are doing. If they're flying to the Caribbean. That's a 3 hour flight. That's just a 3 hour flight for a lot of dudes. For a lot of dudes, if you're on the East Coast, if in the United States, that's only a 3 hour flight. You know, if you're on the East Coast and like let's say New York, that's like a 3 hour, maybe even less than that flight. If you're in like closer to Florida, oh boy, that's my goodness, you'll be there in like an hour. From Florida to the Caribbean, you'll be there in an hour. You'll be like in any island in 1 hour. That's how crazy it is. All right. You're gonna have a lot of dudes just flying everywhere, flying all over the place. Like, you know, I've said this already. Like, I've said it already where it's gonna work like a guy is working, he's at work, he schedules like, you know, the weekend is coming up. He takes off a Monday or a Friday, whatever, but he schedules it so that he has 3 or 4 days off. And every time, and he does this like every month, you know, and he works around his vacation time as well. And basically, by doing this, you know, he'll work and then he'll do this even twice a month if he wants to. And he will, you know, he'll go to work if he has to work in the office. And as soon as his job is done, you know, his bag is already going to be packed from the night before. Everything's going to be good from the night before. And this guy's just going to go home if he even goes home. Some dudes are not even going to go home. Some dudes are not even going to go home. They're going to bring their carry bag with them to the office. Yep, you heard me right. They're going to bring their luggage with them to the office. A lot of dudes are going to do that too. All right, because it's just a small carry. They're going to bring their carry-on luggage with them to the office. All right, and people won't even know what they're doing unless it's like one of those little pull bags. If it's a backpack, a lot of people are just going to say, "Oh, that's a big backpack." All right, little do they know, this dude has all his stuff in there that he needs, and that's his back. That's what he's bringing with him to the overseas. And from the office, he's just gonna like 9 to 5, boom, 5 o'clock. Okay, he's going straight to the airport. Going straight to the airport, hopping on a flight. Already has a travel card. A lot of dudes are getting. Guys, I have a nice travel card right now. By the grace of God, I have a really nice travel card from Citi right now. Got an I have an Advantage card. I have an Advantage travel card, all right? And I've already maxed it out. I've literally maxed it out so that I got all my travel miles. And basically then I just pay off whatever I've charged to it. But I've like maxed it out so that I got all of my travel miles on that. So like I can travel all over the place and it'll be paid for. It'll be paid for. Or I could use those miles very carefully and like find discounts on travel. And then basically, so if I can find like a discounted rate and then just cut it down to a point where like I'm spending like $100 or $200 to like just travel, like just fly like on round trip flights. It's crazy like that. And that's what men are gonna do. So you're gonna have a guy as soon as like 5 o'clock hits, boom, picks up his backpack, doesn't even go home because he has his luggage with him, draw luggage or backpack, goes straight to the airport, hops on a plane, and within a few hours or an hour, this man is in another country. He has an apartment over there. Yes, you heard me right. An apartment that he rents for like $150 a month. Has an apartment, right? Or some guys might rent a room. It doesn't matter. But a lot of dudes will just rent an entire apartment for like a house for $150 in these countries. And they will go over there, push the key into the door, and enter their homes that they will have fully furnished. This is crazy stuff, bro. Guys, this is crazy stuff. And you'll have dudes who have this set up in multiple different countries. Multiple different countries. You think this is a game? Because if you can have a house and rent an entire house or an apartment for $150, right? And in all of these different countries, right? Caribbean, wherever, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Mexico, whatever. What's going to end up happening is dudes are going to furnish these places out because it's going to be very cheap to do that. Simple furnishing. They will, and at any given moment, this dude will literally fly out to any of these countries, go into any of these and go to any of his homes, open up, go inside and chill. And you know what's even crazier than that? Here's where things get even crazier. What a lot of dudes will also do is the places that they're renting, they will turn them into Airbnbs. Oh, yes. So they'll be generating income. They'll link up with a management firm down there. So they'll get someone to manage the property for them, and they'll set it up as an Airbnb. This is what a lot of dudes will do. And because they speak English and they live in the United States, they already have everything set up. So people are going to much rather deal with someone who speaks English and is from the US that can help them. So they're going to rent that place. They're going to rent that out as an Airbnb, and they're going to have income coming in from that Airbnb, and they're going to be making way more than they're spending in rent. So you're going to have all these dudes generating an income overseas. And whenever they feel like it, they will just go to those places for a weekend and chill. So when they're not there, those properties will be generating an income. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy stuff. It's crazy. It's literally going to be the passport kings. And every man is going to have to learn how to do this because that's how they're going to compete now. And women are going to look at these guys and they're going to be furious. And the crazy thing is that it's going to create a massive new economy as men are flying around the world and not only finding happiness in other countries, but new financial opportunities, new opportunities to make money as a result of just going to these countries and learn and integrating into the culture and seeing what's necessary there. It's going to be massive, and most women are going to get left out of it, and they're going to be furious as they watch all these guys walk away, and there will be nothing they can do about it. And if countries try to take advantage of these bros, they're just going to pick up and leave and go to another country. There are tons of countries in this world. I've already said this to you, many if you don't believe it. I keep telling y'all, just remember that I said it first. You're going to see a lot of white dudes going to Africa from Western society. I keep on saying it. Don't sleep on it. Remember that Angry said it first. A lot of white men, massive amounts of white men, are going to be picking up and going to Africa. And they're going to find lots of opportunities over in Africa. Okay? Because it's an emerging economy. It's an economy where the continent as a whole, there's so many things are necessary in Africa. Like they just like literally they don't have infrastructure in a lot of these places. They don't have proper banking in a lot of these places. They don't have certain restaurant opportunities. Everything is like it needs to still be built. So there's so many opportunities, so much land in Africa right now. It's going to be a gold rush, by the way. It's going to be a rush over there for a lot of guys, a lot of people to go into Africa and get themselves a piece of land in Africa and build. Because my goodness, you guys are going to hear stories of people becoming millionaires who went to Africa, right now or years ago, and they got themselves a huge piece of land, nice big piece of land, and now that entire area, now the house property that they have is worth our properties that they have is worth millions of dollars, or the piece of land that they bought, they sold it for millions of dollars, or they built houses. They built many houses on that property, and now those houses are now worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That entire neighborhood is now worth millions of dollars. The passport kings are not going to be messing around. Guys, this father warned daughter's boyfriend not to trust his daughter. That just tells you about modern day society if you need to really know anything more. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men walking away. And cheers.